Charmaine, peace and freedom. Nini, welcome. I'm Reverend Dr. Queen Mother Imaku of Shenu Living. Actually, the whole name is Shenu Living Waters Khametic Institute and Temple. And it's a pleasure to be with you here again. And we are about to enter 2025 here on the East Coast. I'm going to stay on longer because I know there are people across the country who watch. And if you are looking for entering the new year with Khametic prayers and affirmations, then this is the spot for you. Now, I'll tell you, yesterday I was supposed to be on, but all full transparency, I ended up having an emergency and went into the hospital because I fell. I actually passed out, to be very honest with you, because of a colon cleanser that I took that was too strong for my system. And I didn't even take the full dosage that was recommended, but because I have a very sensitive system, I ended up getting so sick and I passed out and bumped my head. Yesterday, I had a big old egg sitting right here last night when I was taken to the hospital. And give thanks and praise, it was not a seizure. And it is a joy to be able to say that my journey in wellness continues. And it was a wonderful thing for me to um, be able to just lean further into my faith. It's been a good year. Yeah, there have been things that have happened, but you know what? There have been so many great things that have happened this year. I'm looking forward to entering 2025 because it is a 9 year. And so I'm going to say to you, please share that we're here on the air as we get ready to enter into our time of prayer and of Khesu ritual. And so also I want to be able to say to you, I'm going to say that we'll be talking tonight more about knit and about sebek or sobek, and also about kenemu, whose energies will guide us along with Reit and our ancestors through 2025, but then also Pekit walks with us. She is transformation. Her numbers are 9 and 13. Now, Pekit, you would liken to Oya, believe it or not, because her name also means the terror. People make all kinds of guesstimations about who equates to uh, Oya in the Orisha tradition, from the Orisha tradition. Dylan, how are you? It's so good to see you. Lizzie, it's so wonderful to see you. Happy New Year to you too. So, and I've thought about you a lot because of Maman Brigitte. I've actually made some dolls that were inspired by Maman Brigitte, and I'm very grateful because the fact that she has been very faithful to me, and along with the others in my Paut Necheru, my spiritual crew. So, and as we get ready to hit the midnight mark, some of you are probably out partying. You'll see this later. Some of you may be already in your own meditation mode, and that's fine. We want to bring this year in a contemplative way, also with integrity and intention. We're always talking about those two things. I'm going to take a moment and just share on a few other forums that I'm here. Okay. Reverend Tamu, how are you? Give thanks and praise. I looked at your chart today so I could remember your Khametic red. Y'all, please share. Please share that we are on the air and about to go into our prayers. I'm grateful that I'm not in the hospital. I was upset at first because I said, I was 2 days away from having my first full year in a long, long time of not being in the hospital at all. But the fact that I was there, I was well taken care of, in spite of all the craziness that was going on last night. Listen, some dude snuck a machete It was a miniature machete about this big into the hospital. Now, the guard made a big deal about picking up the metal on my keys and all this other stuff. How did this dude get in with a mini machete? I don't know. I think it was probably like stuffed into his sock or something, but he got on the other side and then decided to pull it on the doctors. And everybody was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now I understand why they have so many security guards at the hospital. You pulled the Empress card for the start of 2025. Ah, that's excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Nourishing, rebirth, um, taking care of yourself. That nourishment has really to do with self-nourishment. So that's really a good omen for this this coming 2025 cycle. Yes, I was about to share. Let's see. Okay. And for those of you who do consult Oracle, um, it is advisable for you to do so at this time so you know what the shaping factors are for the year coming up. And for those of you who also are very much into the ATRs, African traditional religions, you know that we do an oracle reading of the year. That is our communication with the Most High and with the divine forces who are emissaries of the Most High and who are also facets of us. But we believe the oracle is a way of having divine communication. Where are my rings? Divine communication with the Most High. Where did I put my rings? Oh, well, I'll live. And so it's also common to consult your priest or priestess. If you need to have an oracle reading, um, that's a common ATR practice. So that way you have the full year laid out in front of you in the same way that if you get a chart done, a birth chart, like Reverend Tamu had one done last year, and you have an idea of what the shaping factors of your life are from the Khametic perspective. But then it's also good to check in and do a reading once a year to see, okay, so what's new on the horizon? What's the best way I can handle these things coming up? What is coming up? What should I be aware of? And how should I handle these various situations? So, okay. You just hit share a few times here. Give thanks. And there's a very positive attitude that's going on right now in the atmosphere. In spite of the trauma that we went through as a country recently, people are rebounding and people are focusing on pulling in all the things that are going to be healing, positive, prosperous. And prosperity is exactly what we're going to be focusing on too, but also mental health. Yes, mental health. It's truly important for us to focus on what will be uh, the most healing approach overall to how we live and who we are. Okay, let me start off with that. There we go. All right. Oh, hearing myself. Okay. All right. Okay. So this year will be, oh, it's 3 minutes until giving thanks. It's opened the way into the new year with Beset and Besu. because after all, Beset opens the way and Besu guides you carefully through it. But also, Beset will close that portal for you if it's not a good one. And Beset will close the portal, and Besu will help you to safely get on the other side. Tess, how are you? Give thanks and praise. It's so good to see you. Happy New Year to you too. Yunharech beset, Yunharek besu, ek yuni yunim katni, Anuk beseti besu, Barakani and echanu, Barakani, Yun eni beset besu neferi wadun nefer nebu, Wep wat beset im wepti, Beheni besu em besa, Behen besu hauni I hetnu, Sebek bet yuni, Duau, Enk, enk, enk. Giving thanks as we are prepared to cross over onto the other side of 2025. I want to tell all of you that I'm thankful for all of you that I've come to know over these years, whether it's through the internet or whether through personal appearances, and then deepening our relationship, believe it or not, on the internet. It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. And it is now midnight. I want to say to all of you, a blessed 2025. Let's claim victory for this year. The themes for this year: balance, um, financial benefits, bravery, and business. Okay? Balance. That's harmonious balance in all aspects of your life in my age. Financial benefits. There are people who are talking about all these economic challenges that are coming down the pike, but we are not going to claim that, okay? We're going to claim prosperity. We're going to claim connectedness and community with those who are able to help us to live abundantly and who we also can help. And then bravery. Having the courage to live in your purpose. Sometimes it may not be something that's popular to somebody else. It may not be something that others understand. But if you know that it's right for you, then it's important for you to move forward in your divine purpose, whether it's a new job, a new career, whether it's a new way of approaching your life in general. You know, I left in 2024 outmoded notions. There were definitely things that I outgrew. And when that happens, that means you have to step out on a new level of faith and belief in yourself based on what your new beliefs are and your new practices are. That should be helping to strengthen you and not weaken you. Okay? You take the best of everything that you have learned and move forward. And the things that there may be some things that you still are working to straighten out going into now that we are in 2025. But then for the things where you say, you know what, I'm not going to do that anymore, right? You know, there was a cultural practice that I'd engaged in for years. And this year I finally decided, you know what, I'm good. Good. A different perspective on it. Okay, how has this impacted our community? Has this been a good thing? And then I was able to step into other cultural practices that were consistent with my heritage and also my spirituality that completely elevated me. So it's a good thing to be able to recognize when to not hang on to something that is just not purposeful and positive for you. Okay. We need to make sure that our compassion is strengthened as well, because this is something else that I've learned. Sometimes you just don't understand everything that is happening. You may not have all the information. There are people who are just so quick to judge, to jump on you, to jump on situations because they just don't get it. The way they look at things, it doesn't make sense to them, but they're not in your shoes. Same thing for us. We're not walking in other people's shoes, so we don't always fully understand. And then later down the pike, we get a clear vision because we get the rest of the story. You feel kind of stupid because you might have trounced an individual based on a little bit of information that you had and all the gossip that might have been flaring around it. But then when you have all of the necessary components that give you the clarity necessary to really see what the whole picture is, then you're able to take the wisdom from that, but also put yourself in check about how quick we are to judge. Yes, accountability is important, but in the compassion piece, that means you have to be patient to get the whole story. Okay. But then also, this is why Oracle is important, because sometimes because you don't have all the understanding and you're trying to make a decision based on your feelings, based on the little bit of information that you have, based on the life experience that you have that does not match what is in front of you. Oracle will indicate to you, okay, you don't get it right now, but this is what you should do. Handle it in this way. All right. If you have built that strong of a relationship with the divine through your communication through Oracle, then you're able to say, okay, I don't get it, but I know I should lean into this and trust it because it'll work out later. And generally it does. Okay. For other people who don't get that, what can I say? People who are not only in the ATRs, but who are in earth-based religions have an understanding of what this is about. This also means, and this is very important for this year, to pay attention to signs and signals from nature and to really hone your first eye to an even higher degree so that you can become a better receptor. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that was bravery. And then business. Listen, I'm declaring this as the year of the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur is the artist who makes his or her living through his or her art, where it is a business. A business. I am wearing the logo. You can't see it here, but the logo for my business, which is Blacknificently Latinx Media. I launched the brand a couple of years ago, but fully was able to flex it more, be more engaged with it, and have been focusing on reorganizing every aspect of my business, whether it's my speaking engagement business, whether it's my online business, whether it is consultation services, all that I have to offer. And then because of that, I've also been able to really sit back and look and see what doesn't work for me anymore. All right, you know what? I'm going to retire that part of my professional life, but step more into this because the fact that business is a strength of mine. I've had 4 years of being able to do extensive healing work, but now I've been ready to jump back in the fray and have started to do so, and I'm even more empowered to do that. Now, for those of you who understand about Orisha, 9 is Oya. Oya in the Khametic tradition is Pekit, and Oya governs business. She is the businesswoman. She is the entrepreneur. She is the marketplace. For those of us who have those components within us, jump on it. For those who have wanted to strengthen their businesses, lean into it. Open yourself to the wisdom of that energy because it's also radical change. As I was preparing for tonight, and I was praying, and I called on Bekij, and next thing you know, there were claps of lightning and thunder. And she is also lightning and thunder, just like Oya. She is the terror. That is her name, just like Oya. And I don't mean terror. I mean Tearer, the one who shreds, who tears. She is associated with the original Black Panther, an aspect of Bastet and Beset. And she is even more powerful than Sekhmet, believe it or not. I know a lot of people are honoring Sekhmet this time of year, and that's cool because this is purification time. But Bekit does purification. She does finance. She does protection. Sekhmet is not about money. Sekhmet will dry up your resources. Okay. Again, I'm not trying to say don't honor her at this time, but if you do honor her, make sure that you are all also bringing balance by honoring either her other side, Het Heru, or bringing in other prosperity guardians such as Asar or Wasir, such as Hatmeit, who is great abundance, great abundance. Okay, this is why it's important to have a knowledge of as many of the Neteru as you possibly can. Renenutet we always honor in the fall because she is the harvest, but you also honor her in the spring and are able to actually call on her at any time. So I hope you have done your purifications. And I mean, up until the last minute, I was sweeping again. After I get finished with you all, I'm going to mop my floor, okay? And but this cycle is not something that ends today. This whole practice of cleansing and preparing the new energy to come in, because when you eradicate the old, you're welcoming the new. There's an understanding of the fact that nature hates a vacuum. So if you push the old out, you must call in the new, but not just new energy. You want healthy new energy, and not just healthy new energy that looks good and bright and shiny over there for this other person. You want what is right for your life. Otherwise, you'll end up going hither and yon and taking yourself off of your path and not maybe stepping into full potential of your gifts. We have the different wisdom experiences that we have, but we also have to make sure that we're not repeating ourselves. Okay, you're just doing something because you're comfortable with it. Okay, maybe it's time for you to just go over this way, but that's part of your road. But you just want to stay over here, but the road is taking you this way, and you have to be brave enough to go and make sure that it's for you, that it's absolutely for you. Okay. And so for those of us who are entrepreneurs and in any aspect of the arts, okay, whether it is performing arts, whether it is visual arts, whether it's the healing arts, because you are you're creating a healing space, and you're also creating a healing environment in people's bodies. And so all aspects of the arts, and I'm not talking about things like stuff that you would find on the dark web. If y'all trying to apply any of these principles to that, then y'all need to step back, because it's going to be a big old backlash if you choose to do that. This is for works that are of positive intention and that are to uplift humanity, things that are to uplift your community, things that are to uplift your life, and also to enhance your family, and also things that would make you someone to look up to in your community. That's important. Okay. So this is the year to truly step out, deepen your roots in your business, expand your territory. This is a roots and wings kind of thing. All right. For those who are ancestors in your bloodline who were successful in business, you want to make sure that you open to their wisdom that they bring you, because if they did something that was absolutely right, then you need to investigate what that's about, and if they were consistent in that. I'm not talking about somebody who hit the lottery and then the next year they're broke, or they hit the lottery and then they squandered their money in another way, or they hit the lottery and then did nothing really positive with their life. Okay, I mean, I'm not judging about if you play the lottery, but what I am saying is that you want to make sure that your life is still productive, that you're giving back to society, and that you are building a financial base that is strong enough for you to live on, and also for you to leave something behind. Now, let's talk about business. And I thought about gambling because the fact that one of my relatives who had a conversation with me about the wisdom of ancestors decided, well, I was playing cards, and so I remember that Aunt so-and-so was really great at money, that she died a millionaire. So I called on her and I started winning in in the card game. Okay. But are you winning at the game of life? So you want to be able to call on the ancestors who you know will be able to bring you greater wisdom for different circumstances and help you to succeed in your life. Okay. Thanks, Tessa. Thank you. Okay, so speaking of faith, this is a prayer of faith. Sharer nekti. Nektini neket. My faith is strong. Neket nekti. Sycamore, tree of life, my refuge. I need my glasses. Nekuni mutnechurt. Mother God watches over me. Anuk neketet. I am a powerful woman. This is for all of my sisters in faith out there from the various traditions. Let's focus on doing invocations right now for the Aritu. They're the chakras. Let's take a nice deep breath in. Sarek, inhale. Nifa, exhale. Sarek. Nifa. Sarek. Nifa. Relax your breathing. Envision yourself encased in a beautiful orb of light, glowing, strong, protective. And today we're going to start from the root, pulling up beautiful, rich, red energy from the earth. The feet to the tailbone. Urud. Nisi, arti, and taort igeb ipata. I invoke security through taort, geb, and pata. Nisi katwab im sekmet. I invoke a pure body through sekmet. Usakrer, which is the sacral, vibrant orange color. That is the area of procreation. Nisi hari ishabarit jaser imbast. I invoke joy and divine flow through bast. Nisi keper in kepri. I invoke creativity through kepri. Nice deep breath in. Exhale. Relax your breathing. Moving on to Sukti, the area between the rib cage, vibrant yellow. Nisi peret in hat, ib jaser im heru. I invoke courage and a divinely aligned will through heru. Anuk neches, I am awake. Moving now to hat, the heart, vibrant green. Nisi merech im heteru. I invoke divine love. Nisi ma'et im ma'et. I invoke harmony. And now moving up to the throat, Neferet, vibrant blue. Nisi ma'akeru jaser im jahuti. I invoke divine, correct speech. Hirni is set. I am on my throne. Nice deep breath in. Sarek. Nifa. Sarek. Nifa. Sarek. Nifa. Relax your breathing. Wuja. Wujati wujat. First eye. Nisi. Imyukat wab. Imheket. I invoke pure thoughts through Heket. Kaini. I elevate. And the crown. Herit. And the color for Wujat was deep indigo. Moving on to the luminescent crown, white, gold, silver, lavender. Nisi Jaser, I invoke divinity. Nisi Jaser Imyum, I invoke divinity through the tree of life. Give thanks. And now send that energy up to our higher selves. Heri. Crown is Herit. Higher self Heri. And Kerit also. Our highest and wisest self. Take a moment to listen. Align yourself. Listen. Your higher self holds your memory of what your path is, the sacredness of why you are here, and helps you to get aligned or realigned with your destiny. Anuk we em we. I am one with the one. As we move on to the energy of Nebet Shur, the great divine one. Anuk we em we. I am one with the one. Take a moment to listen. And let the energy spill down from above into your higher self, funneling it down into your crown, your first eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus. Hold there for a moment. The solar plexus is the place of will. Feel the energy of the will expanding and aligning and preparing you for your walk in 2025. Again, Anuk we em we. I am one with the one. Envision yourself growing, handling any challenges, having the wisdom to see what challenges to avert, having the courage to live your life out loud. And now moving down to the sacral, beautiful creative energy for you to live your life creatively, Also, gathering together people who are meant to be on this journey with you, to bring you wisdom, who also you can bring wisdom to, who can be your playmates on this planet, in this divine game of life. People you can trust, believe in. And now moving down to the root, recognizing your roots, your tree of life, the strength of your family, the positive elements of your family. What shaped you? Who shaped you? Also, the wisdom of those who've gone before. We say, Anuk Ardi, I am secure. Anuk Ardi, I am safe and secure. Anuk Ardi, I am safe and secure. Let's reconnect with the earth and then send any negative energy down into the earth that you may be carrying so the earth can absorb it and transmute it. Send it out for healing to the planet. Being rooted and grounded. Give thanks. And now, again, we've released the negative energy. Let's pull vibrant new energy into our feet. Again, Anuk Aradi, I am secure. I am safe and secure. Connecting that energy with your orb, you are protected. Giving thanks. As I count down from 10 to 1, we'll return to the presence of this room, bringing all of the beautiful energy and wisdom that we've just experienced with us, believing in the best for ourselves as we enter 2025. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. Sadak, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Relax your breathing. Give thanks. Dua Reverend Tamu. Shake out your hands. Kind of reorient yourself. Rubbing the hands. Washing the hands. Interlace the fingers and stretch. Doesn't that feel good? And release. Shake it out. Okay. Let's talk further about knit. There is a saying that is at the Temple of Sais. Her wall, there's a wall dedicated to her in the Temple of Sais. And it says, I am the things that have been, are, and will be. No mortal has lifted the veil by which I am concealed. The fruit which I brought forth was the sun, or ray, life force. She's considered the mother of the Necheru. She is also associated with Amunit. Amunit was or is part of the Agdoad, and she is the highest level of the Agdoad. She is also the hidden one. We're often hearing about Amun or Amen, how he is the hidden, but her energy is even more powerful and more intense and more about standards. We talked about the other night. Nit represents standards. They are both aligned because they're both the hidden ones. That is Amunit and Nit. And Amunit and Nit represent high level initiation. You have to put in the work. There's no laziness when it comes to Nit. She is all about hard work and showing that you deserve the rewards that you are asking for, that these are truly earned. If you take shortcuts, she ain't trying to deal with you. All right. If you cheat, she ain't trying to deal with you. If your integrity ain't there, she ain't trying to deal with you. Ambrosia, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So we're back to the talk about integrity and putting in the work. The work energy that is eri, that means to act, to do. Yes. But it also refers to duty, the duty that you have, the things that you should do. In fact, there is the saying that I have up on my bookshelf in my bedroom. Do the thing that is right. You will attain a true state of being. That's from the book of Amen M. Apet, the 15th chapter, verse 319. Do the thing that is right, and you will attain a true state of being. Well, that is very much what the energy of Amanit and Nit are about, because of the high level that they represent. Now, it's said in mystical communities that if you are able to attain that level, and then you are let in behind the curtain, behind the divine veil, welcome, you're welcomed in, okay? But then you get in, you're shown even more secrets. And also, Nit, she will connect you. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. These are others who will help you along your journey and that you will help as well. They will help you to be elevated to a higher place. Take me to my higher place. But then you get behind the curtain, okay? And you are privy to all of this information. And you have access to new levels of people. You're in a new echelon. And instead of using discernment, you start bragging about it. You start showing off what you know. And trust me, and believe me when I tell you that the most spiritual people that I have met are not out here trying to showboat. They're not trying to prove how much they know. They're not trying to wear the apparel and doing Khametic cosplay or spiritual cosplay to seem as though they are this fancified guru and all of that, when in fact they're just trying to get a following and they don't really know all that much. Looking the part is not what it's about, okay? Yes, you have the times where you will dress a certain way to identify to people that you are, if you are a priest or priestess, if you are a minister, yes. But most of the people that I've known who were really spiritually deep were very humble, and just fit in with the crowd. Because you find that the more that you know, the more you have to protect that energy and protect the sources that you have acquired. And also, wisdom will bring you to that place of recognizing where you have to lean into your discernment and know when to speak and when not to speak. It is silence. Amunit is also known as Gerhit. Amun is Ger. Gerhit is Amunit. Ger is night. The feminine aspect of that is Gerhit. Night is also silence. Geru is the word for guru, and it's the humble person with the finger to the lips, the silent-mouthed man. This is the person who has discernment. If you start flaunting what you know, not from an educational standpoint, but just trying to prove that you are so lofty in your knowledge and that you feel that you are so much better than other people because you have obtained this knowledge and you have obtained this privilege and this other person has not, then trust and believe you will lose it. You'll end up sliding right back down the mountain you climbed up, the ladder you climbed up, and you have to start all over again. The divine gifts that you had that were given to you will be taken from you. And that means that you're on the other side of the veil and the veil is now closed. Okay. And you got to do all the work to get yourself back up if you're able to. And you have to really go through some lessons in humility in order to get back up there. So, do you have the courage to climb back up that mountain? Knowing that it's not just some easy ride up the hill. Knowing that you've got to put in the footwork. You may be lucky enough to get a ride sometimes, but the whole thing is that the effort is yours. Knit is self-created. Self-created. That means that she knows her strengths. She knows what she can rely on within herself. Yes, she also knows who she can call on to help her in time of need. But basically, her focus is, I'm good. I got it. Because I'm that powerful. Because I've obtained that much knowledge and also mysticism. I'm good. Oh, you want some of this? Oh, well, there are some others who are on this path too, but they put in the work. So get to stepping. That's Knit. She will protect you if she sees that you are really trying and putting in the work from a sincere place. And she knows that your challenges are great. Listen, many of the geniuses in this world who have contributed so much to the world go through some real crap. You hear me? People who have come with a great mission, they go through stuff. And it strengthens you. Now, I'm not saying that you should just keep falling into calamity after calamity and say, oh, well, this is what I'm meant to do because it's going to strengthen me. No. Wisdom is to know what challenges to take on, to understand when you have somebody who is opposing you as an enemy, and you have to handle that too, and I'll get to that. And knowing when to step away. Otherwise, if you don't get the lesson, you're going to just keep on going to the same thing over and over and over again. And if you keep reacting the same way, then you are definitely not going to grow. And for those of you who are interested in the mystical aspect of things, you must have integrity. You should have integrity when approaching it. The first thing that you do as you approach any spiritual system, any religion, is working on Yehuches, which is discipline. The discipline that is required to learn, and also to learn the ethics. There are plenty of disciplined people out here who are some of the most immoral folks I've ever met. So it's not just discipline. You have to have a strong ethical core, and that's where my eight comes in. She is justice, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity, and higher love. You can't have all of that if you don't come from a place of strong ethics. Okay? Manku deals with how you live strategically and ethically. And right in the center of that is my eight. So if you are interested in becoming a superhero and just learning a whole bunch of stuff just because you can, listen, that's another whole thing. You're not going to get that from me. You're not going to get those teachings from me. And it used to be years ago that I would just share all this mystical information and then realize that there was greater responsibility that I needed to accept in what I shared, because not everybody was coming with an ethical core. Strengthen your ethics. Living in this world, it's difficult because it's largely unethical. But if you are on a path of higher consciousness, truly higher consciousness, then you know that living a life that is truly mindful, of mindfulness, where you're aware of how your behavior impacts upon another and how they impact upon you, and that we are all interwoven in some way. And see, that's knit. She is weaving, and she is the weaving together of societies, of people, of threads in all aspects. That's her. If you want to have strong bonds, strong, fine bonds, you want to be around people who are ethical, and you want to break the habits that you may have acquired from living in this society. Most people are used to just being able to get over. Oh, Tamara, hey. Tamara, it's good to see you. Give thanks. How old are the boys now? I'm almost afraid to ask. Cynthia, how you doing? Did you go live today on TikTok? It's good to see you, and I should be back over um, um, to the center at some point in this year, hopefully within this next month. They're 19 and 18. Oh my God. Where did the time go? Where did the time go? Are they in school? What are they doing? Oh my goodness. And tell me, did you find your homeschooling successful for them? I would like you to really let me know about that, because I'm dealing with a lot of homeschool um, um, groups now. And it's always important to hear about success stories. Sometimes kids will be homeschooled to a certain age, and then they'll enter into public school. And for some people, it's seamless. For some, youth, it's seamless. For others, it's a little bit of a challenge. But there seems to be a great advantage to having homeschooling, because the fact that it's not as limited as regular schooling can be. And so I'd love to know. And so, and Cynthia, I'd left a message for you on my profile page, which I think you're watching me on right now. Okay. Yeah, the other night when you were on, and I looked, I was like, know that name. And then when I went to my page, I said, "Oh, Cynthia." Okay, so yeah, about attaining that higher level, higher consciousness, higher levels of your own personal education, your own desires to do better, and to stay on the path and not get distracted. All right, Yehu Chess. That is a term for self-discipline. Keperni Chess means I created myself. I created myself. That's the equivalent of like, yeah, I did it my daggone self. I did that. All right. And then also this is Ka. Many of us know this as the term for spirit, but also this is the symbol. Trying to get my arms even here. Okay. This is the symbol for focus. Yeah. Ka and Kat are associated with meditation. And what are you doing? You're focusing. People, I know there's a whole meditation of just, empty your mind and all of this. In Khametic practice, we focus. And when you're trying to manifest something, you must hone and pull the energies in and direct them. Focus in order to make something happen. Everything can be all la-di-da and everything like that, but you want to make sure that you have very strong goals in life. Knit is also about goals. So goal setting is all important. Knit is one of the archers. There are several archers in the Khametic tradition, and they're all female. My private students know the deeper aspects of all of them, and who relates to Ojosi and how, and there are. Let me see. You have Knit, you have Anket. She's an archer, and then also Zatet. They are the three archers. Yeah. So They're great for goal setting, but especially knit because actually all three of them are huntresses. So write your goals down for this year. There really is something to writing down what you want to do, because on the one level you're manifesting it in a certain way. On another level, you are helping to really uh, decide what you want to do. I mean, there's brainstorming as well, where you can just write down a bunch of ideas. But then when you take a look at it and you decide, okay, what do I really, really want from that's on this list? And how do I go about making it happen? Okay. Because we can dream all we want. Dreaming is an element of putting it out there. But then how do you create it? And some things will automatically just come to you. I've been blessed in so many ways with different opportunities that have just come to me. But it was all based on the prior work that I had done. I'd put in the work. So when different things came to me, like shows I didn't have to audition for, where the role was just handed to me, is because I put in the work as a professional. Different other opportunities that I've had, you know, so many things that have been a blessing where it was just handed to me after I put in the work. All right. These are the blessings of knit. Now, also, there is timing, because knit represents timing. This is where it's important to be aligned and to be open within your first eye, so that you can be aware intuitively of what time it is to move on this. Sometimes you'll be guided to go a certain place. And I'll give you a perfect example. This is not only about timing, but this is also about intuition. I have a spiritual goddaughter who is here. And yesterday, when I was having my medical emergency, I was so dizzy. Oh my goodness, I was so dizzy. And it was after I passed out on the floor and I managed to get myself up. And I was so, so dizzy. And I was like, oh, wow, I need help. Well, boom, my goddaughter called. She was like, Queen Mother, are you okay? Spirit told me to call you. I was like, you know what? I need an ambulance. So she talked me through it. And she also told me which hospital to go to, because I was going to go to the hospital that I usually went to, which would have been a big mistake. Why? Because it turned out that the hospital that she recommended for me to go to was perfect, because there was a young doctor there who was able to ascertain right away that it was not a seizure, that it was that I passed out. And he explained why. And especially because of the cleanser I'd taken earlier and the impact that it had on my body, and the fact that I'm always doing cleansing. So I have a very sensitive system in general, but also because of the health challenges, but the main thing is because of the fact that I live a healthy life, you know. So he said, you don't need to do all that, you know, that's going to overtax your system like it did. So stay away from that. But he said, no, it's not. It wasn't a seizure. So here's the thing, because I know if I'd been taken to the other hospital, they had all my records from all the years I had been there as a seizure patient, you know, with epilepsy. And right away, they would have done the first aid for a person who was suspected of having a seizure. They would have loaded me up with medication in order to stabilize my system. I've just spent the last year and almost a half cleansing all that garbage out of my system. I'm not saying for people to go off their medication. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about for me. The stuff that I was on was killing me. It was ruining my quality of life. I had no focus. It was ruining my life. I was making bad decisions. You know, y'all probably heard me talk about that. But yeah, this hospital was not quick to do that. But it was an absolute blessing. And I'm laying there and I'm thinking, oh Lord, they're probably going to pump me full of some stuff. And then time went on. I noticed they left me alone. You know, they just waited for me to get my CT scan. They waited for me to, you know, to get back to a place of feeling balanced. And then they took me to my to take a CT scan to make sure that I had not like cracked my skull, because this was an egg here. I had a big knot on my head. If you see the picture, I was going to share the picture, but I'm not going to do that, because Lord knows who can grab that and then do whatever with it on the internet. Okay. But it was not pretty when I came to, and I put my hand like this, and I had this big egg right here. I was like, oh my God. And it was all full of pus, and it was, oh God, it was not fun. So, but you can see, listen, give thanks for healing. All right. Give thanks for prayers. I sent out the message to some of my students to let them know so they could pray for me, and then also to some of my other minister prayer warriors who were in my life. And also, it was a blessing that my goddaughter showed up at the hospital to be there with me, and then my cousin, he came. And let me just tell you something. It's always good to make sure that people see that you have people who are visiting you when you're in the hospital. If you don't come in with somebody, then you need to make sure to have somebody get there so they can see that you're not by yourself, because people can be victimized in the worst ways. I mean, even in terms of just medical abuse and the decisions that are made for you instead of with you. So if you can be that person to stand in that place of protection for somebody who's vulnerable in the hospital, then please do so. And also get people in place who will do the same for you, because you never know. So shout out to them, much love to them. And for those who prayed for me, much love to my students. And for those who didn't know, that's why I didn't come on last night, because I was in the hospital. But I'm here today. Give thanks. So, Tamra, when it's still in school, will be done in May. They're very much self-led. After a while, they aren't sure if what they want to do. There's no rush. Okay, as far as school is concerned, yeah, there's no rush. College will always be there, right? Homeschooling is more strict in New York than here, so it might be easier after a while to go into school. Oh, I know it does vary from state to state. I remember I had somebody who was following me up in Canada one time who was trying to become my student, and so while we're having class, her kids were just running and ripping in the background, chasing each other and whatnot. And I said, they okay? If they're supposed to be homeschooled, then maybe we should have our classes at night. Oh, they're all right. And then one came to her while we were on camera and said, the dog ate the meat. their vegan meat on the counter. She had just sitting out there, and the dog just helped himself to. Yeah, I had another student who was homeschooling also, and just was spending all the time during the day on the internet, just browsing stuff, and just like, how's your kid doing? She's all right. If you're gonna homeschool, make sure you homeschool, right? So I'm glad, Tamara, that you were so committed to homeschooling, and that it has served well in its stead. I'm so glad. Give thanks. Maria, how are you? I know you're over in the UK, and your 2025 has already started, right? Well, ours has too here in the East, but let me make tomorrow a day where we connect. Okay, let's do that. Tomorrow is Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday. Yeah, let's make it tomorrow. Let's connect tomorrow. Okay. All right. Okay, so knit connections, protection. So we're talking about mysticism, and it's important to know how to protect yourself. Once every couple of years, I offer a course, a quick mini course in psychic self-defense. Highly important. Those of us who are on the path, generally we've got a bunch of books, and I've got my share. But then also, if you have a mentor, you have your share of notes given to you personally from your mentor's knowledge. Is why it's important to have someone to be able to lead you, so that you know what you're doing. So that you have questions about something, then you can go from someone who has had experience, who you trust. And so, we get pulled into various uh, uh, topics of interest when it comes to this kind of path. And then when you start learning about things, and you hear about different things, okay, so what is astral travel all about? Call your mentor, your guide, you can talk about it. Mine, she was always quick to say at first, where'd you learn about it? And why do you want to know? Okay, just to check my intention on it. Yeah. Maria, right here, right now, it is 12:53. You're 5 hours ahead of us, right, in the UK, aren't you? So I would answer. Well, I heard about it and I'm curious, and so then she would answer. And she would give the pluses and the minuses. So the positives and the warnings, you know. It wasn't like in the movie Death Becomes Her, where Meryl Streep, her character, goes to see Isabella Rossellini, and she wants that potion, and so then she finally gets the potion, right? And afterwards, after she takes the potion, then Isabella Rossellini says, "And now a warning," and Meryl Streep's character says, "Now a warning." So yeah, if you have a really good mentor or guide or instructor, they're going to tell you the benefits and also the challenges when you ask. So it's not something that you embark upon and then find yourself out there in peril and don't know how to fix it. Okay. Um, but the more we learn about these different aspects of mysticism, the more you should know about protecting yourself, because you're actually opening yourself up to whole other realms of energy. And there are some that you just need to leave alone. Okay? Especially if you don't know what to do. Sometimes it's like you're a baby and you've had a gun put in your hands, and you can end up just, well, not even being strong enough to lift up the gun, or you can be one that's strong enough to lift up the gun and then pull the trigger, and next thing you know, you've done this, and this. You have to know what you're doing. You have to figure out if it's something you should be messing with at all. But the biggest thing is that you need to have modes of protection, self-protection, because there are a lot of haters out there. I always say you can just be living your life, and people have all kinds of imagined feelings about, well, no, their feelings are very real, but they imagine certain things about you that may not necessarily be so, or that they're jealous of. That's life. People and their insecurities and how they act based on their level of maturity and self-control, that can have a really bad impact upon you if you're not aware of what may be thrown at you, what other people may be invoking against you. There are some people who go to lengths of having elaborate plots for how they're going to continuously try to jack up your life. You need to know how to be able to shut that down. And the biggest thing is recognizing who is really your friend. I'm always quoting the book of Ankh Shashanki that says, "May I know my friends, my brothers and sisters, so I may share my goods with them." Sharing your goods also means in terms of your spiritual knowledge as well. There are some people who are coming pretending to be your friend only because they want the information that you have, so they can then turn around and use it against you, and then also use their cohorts, their minions, to project it against you as well. So, this is why I talked to the other day about who I let in my house. I'm very, very careful about who I let in my house. And then I watch very carefully to see how people act. And if your stuff gets disturbed, how people react to it, are they responsible for it? Why are you messing with my stuff? How about that? So, psychic self-defense is extremely important. A very simple thing to do is to put salts across your doorstep, your door jamb, and your windows and so forth, because it is believed that they repel negative spirits. That's a very easy thing to do. You can use salt water. This is a new year. You can just get a bucket of water, put some salt in it, and pray over it, and and then pour it in front of your doorway. If you have steps, then pour down your steps. Okay. Um, something as simple as taking anointed holy olive oil and just placing your hand on it and praying, right? Or you can just dip your finger in it and do it, whatever sacred symbol is important for you. In the Khametic language, we have many because the language itself is considered holy and sacred. It's called the Medunetcher, the words of God. These are the symbols that the Greeks called hieroglyphs. And there's intense meaning in each of them. Now, in doing healing work, there are people who will rely on Reiki. Reiki has truth. I kind of got played out, but anyway, then there are those of us who are working with other energies that truthfully are more powerful than Reiki. And we use the symbols that are associated with our practice. And so for us in the Khametic tradition, we have all of these Khametic symbols to use. But you have to know them. You have to study them. You have to understand what you're truly invoking. I also have, speaking of symbols, I have my Khametic runes class that I am opening back up starting next week. If you want information about that, then reach out to me, please. You can text me at 646-228-1185. I lost time yesterday because of the hospital thing, so I didn't have a chance to put together my meme for that, but I'll have time tomorrow to work on putting that together and advertising that. But if you want to reach out to me personally because you want to sign up, and this is a short-term class, I'm going to be doing them in sections, then please reach out to me. Okay. So the use of sacred symbols is a great way of being able to protect yourself and also to protect your home and projects that you're working on, and even your computer screen. It's a great mode of communication, but this is essentially another portal. Yeah, yeah. Walking through your house with incense, that's easy. But that takes discipline, because to do that on a regular basis, every day, like after you pray, you should get into a daily prayer practice, whatever your tradition is. But from the Khametic tradition, we believe in praying 5 times a day. And so, the very beginning, you wake up, you pray, you get up, you get your day going, but then you want to walk through your house with your sacred, if you want to use sage, if you want to use frankincense and myrrh, if you use um, sage, I also recommend that you use sweetgrass, because sage eradicates negative energy. Sweetgrass pulls in positive energy. All right. And, there's a whole science, understanding the science of plants and what they bring in terms of their healing properties and their protective properties. So, and I also want to remind you that this period of cleansing that we're doing is extended until February 2nd. So as of January 2nd, those of us who are in the practice are starting a cleanse. Yeah, we're doing another cleanse. Because we're entering an intense year. We've got intense things going on. January is going to be an extremely intense month. So we want to go in unrounded and unrattled and grounded, and setting ourselves up for success. Neferet is the word that's used for the throat, and also it is associated with the term for the ancient guitar, the ancient lute, the lute. But also it is the word that means success, Neferet. So this is also based on the words that you use, the sounds that come out of your mouth, again, invocations, and even sacred toning, singing, right? But understanding the science of, I was saying about plants and going into detail about that, and because of our cleansing season extending to the 2nd. That's where I was going. So you don't have to have this big rush like tomorrow, trying to do everything. We definitely have our practices. We're leading up to 2025, or the new year. We want to make sure the house is in order. I told you I've been cleaning for weeks, and it's not like I'm some slob. I'm really not, right? But you decide, okay, I don't need this anymore. You start throwing things away. You shift your perspective on things. Like you'll notice my camera angle has changed over the past couple of weeks because I realized it's a better view. And it's more convenient having my setup this way. You start opening yourself up to things, and then you start seeing, like, wow, there was actually one thing that I had up on my wall for a long time, and I just felt very strongly led to take it down and put up this tapestry that indicates movement and has the colors associated with my guardians. And right away, as soon as I took down the old and put the other one up in that space, the entire room energy just shifted. So those are the things I've been doing leading up to now, and will continue to do. So you don't have, I don't want you to feel like you have to hurry up and rush and get things done by tomorrow. However, be mindful in what you do. Okay, be absolutely mindful. So, like, if you've cleaned your space, um, don't get lazy and start putting things down where they don't belong, because after a while they pile up. I generally don't let things stay for too long in a certain place. If I put something down where it doesn't usually go, then it's usually because I'm very, very tired. I've come in from something, and I'm exhausted. I'm like, I'll get to that tomorrow, and generally I do. I may put my coat at my dining room table on the chair, and the next day, then just put it back in the closet. Things like that. And so you want to make sure you don't let things build up. This is again where you have focus. Focus on what you're doing. Okay, I think I've shared everything I need to share about knit. And if you understand the notion about her being self-created, I did it myself. And this goes to parthenogenesis. Okay. Parthenogenesis is back when women were able to procreate by themselves without the need of a man. Now, knit is not one of those of the energy, I don't need no man. It's not like that. She is about, I can do it myself, though. I'm not a wallflower. And I know if I do it, then it's going to get done the right way. She does know how to delegate, but by the same token, she's aware of who she is and her strength. She's not one to pummel. Well, unless you come against one of her children. But she is one who is just very self-assured. Confidence. Self-confidence. Let's take a moment and do an invocation on self-confidence. Something else I have in my bedroom. It's an energy, it's an image of Kenamu, who we are also calling in. Kenamu, who is the builder, he is the creator, he is the crafter, he is the one who sits at the potter's wheel, the original creator at the potter's wheel, who creates souls, and Heket then breathes life into them. Well, Kenamu also was associated with Nit and was considered one of Nit's partners, okay? His energy is also very much about being self-assured, very much so. So one of the regular mantras that I say is Keni Kefau, which means I have confidence. Kefau means power, strength, confidence, and mystical power. Keni, I have Kefau. Power, strength, confidence, and mystical power. Keni Kefau. Keni Kefau. Let me spell that for you. This is where it's really good to be able to know the language too, because then you're able to do the invocations that you need. You think, okay, I need to work on strengthening this, and say, okay, so that therefore I'm going to say this. This will be my affirmation, or my hekau, my words of power. Keni Kefau. Keni Kefau. Keni Kefau. Keni Kefau. Keni Kefau. Also spelled and y'all can write that down, especially for my students out there in your book of light. Keni Kefau. Keni Kefau. Keni Kefau. I have power. I have courage. I have strength. Kenum or Kenemu is also the uniter. Uh, he is the bridge builder, the connector. He has that in common with Nit. He is rebirthing. Okay. And then I'd spoken the other day about Sobek. He is the son of Nit. Some say the son of Nit and Kenemu. He is depicted as an alligator, but it is to depict the strength. Alligators are deadly. The two most feared creatures in Kemet when it came to dealing with any animals in the water were the hippopotamus and the crocodile. Why? Because you could be in the water and all of a sudden find yourself dinner. It's interesting to see how the crocodile takes down its prey. It'll chomp down on it, drag you down into the water, and do what's called a death roll. Look it up on the internet. Okay, look for videos of it. They will just roll you and spin you in the water like you're in a washing machine until you are dead. When you have someone that is always in sneak attack mode, that's something to be careful of. Yet, the hippopotamus, Taor, who is actually a composite kind of a being, um, is the mother, okay, another aspect of the divine mother, and works with Sobek. Sobek is depicted on the back of Taor's. And work together. You know? Soul, how are you? Good, thanks. Good, thanks. Y'all know my mouth is still healing. The oral surgeon told me it was going to take maybe a few weeks, and then I was told it's going to take about 6 months. Then I was told, well, it's going to be about a year for your mouth to heal. But it's better. It's better. Like I said, it's always better. So Soul Dwau, thank you. And is that my soul from? Is that my sister soul? You said still are in reference to what? I'm about to go on my phone and make sure the same soul. So, oh my, look at all the messages I've gotten. Wishing Happy New Year. Yeah, is that my metaphysical? Is that my metaphysical sister's soul? So I'm trying to get at. So, yeah, Sebek, Sobek, either one. So, what is the benefit of having an alliance with an energy that is depicted as a crocodile? Well, he is also considered admirable, Lord, an admiral. Okay, just like with Ogun Balanjo, that's the equivalent, you know. And uh, so it is a sort of rough hewn energy, but with refinement. It is a higher developed aspect and a fierce protector, an ally in the same way that he is the ally of Taorit, will have your back and is able to see those who are out there who are not meaning you any good. But he is also a uniter, just like his father, Kinamu. He is a lover. He loves love. He loves intimacy as well. Um, but he is also considered an aspect of Heru. Yeah, one of his names is Sobek Heru. And so for more information, you can go back to some of my previous videos. Okay. All right. I wanted to share this with you about Nit. So many sacred writings. Well, no, let's do Nit first, yes, because we talked about her. Make sure I have the right book. You know, when you develop a library, it's important to know what to hold on to and what to release. There are books you may not have read completely, but you use for reference. There are books that you may intend to read, and maybe you will. Okay. Don't be so quick to get rid of things because you haven't had a chance to read them and you may have had them for years. But there are some books where you know good and daggone well that they just no longer suit you and you can't even use them for reference and they're just taking up space on your bookshelf. Then give them to somebody else. Give it or them to somebody else. Okay, this is here. Okay. How's everybody doing? You know what's so funny, because on the different platforms it'll show this amount or people are watching over here, and this amount of people are watching over here, this amount of people watching over here, and then you know we have a number of like the total that's up in the corner. But then when you get off, then you find out that there were actually a lot more people watching than you thought, which is a good thing. So this passage comes from the sacred writings from the Stela of King Nectanebu. His Majesty rose in the. Now, by the way, he was a devotee of Nit. That's why I'm sharing this. His Majesty rose in the palace of Sais and sat in the temple of Nit. The king entered the mansion of Nit and rose in the red crown beside his mother. His mother is Nit. He poured a libation to his father, the Lord of eternity, in the mansion of Nut. And his majesty said, let there be given 1 in 10 of gold, to silver, of timber, and 9 worked wood of everything coming from the sea um, the Greeks, of all of the goods, or being all of the goods that are reckoned to the king's domain in the town named Henet, and one in gold and of silver, etc., etc. And I just want to clarify, it is not that he is referring to the Greek society as being a higher society, because the Greeks studied with the Kemites. Their wisdom came from the Kemites. They were first turned down at least 3 times. They were turned away from the Kemites because they said that they weren't evolved enough to understand the teachings. So finally, they were accepted. And so this is just talking about location for where to find some things. But anyway, his point is about making offerings. And offerings represent work. This is a metaphor for putting in the work, in order to really gain the appreciation of the energy of Nit. And then it says, my majesty has commanded to preserve and protect the divine offering of my mother, Nit, and to maintain everything done by the ancestors, in order that I have done that what I have done be maintained by those who shall be for an eternity of years. In other words, for those who come after. So yeah, the importance of keeping up these traditions. When you know something works, then what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Um, this is important because we've had a broken lineage. We've had people who stopped practicing because things changed, names were changed, and then different ideologies came to be. But it doesn't mean that the deity died. The name changed. Okay, Nit became known by many other names: Nit Amenit, Nit or Tanit, Athena. It's not that they leave us. A lot of times we leave them, and but in order to have continuity, then we picked up the practice today and are now teaching so that it can go forward in the correct way, not in the way of the hoteps, as I shared the other day. People who are hoteps are those who think they understand about the tradition but are not living it, and are doing hotep cosplay, Khametic cosplay. How's that? Okay, and then also I wanted to share this other facet here. Let me share about Kenemu. This is one of my all-time favorite passages. Again, he is the original crafter who sat at the potter's wheel, creator of souls out of clay. We've heard that reference before, right? And this is from the Famine Stela, also known as the Legend of Kenemu and a 7-Year Famine. And so you've heard me tell this story often before, and how King Jasir was not on top of it, and people were dying. When I say he wasn't on top of it, that means he was disregarding the ancient traditions. And because of that, the energy was out of whack. And so the AP was not filling up, it was not flowing, because Kenemu was not throwing open the floodgates, because there were certain things that were not being done in order to make sure that that happened. So finally, after Jasir gets the clue, and it was his holy people actually tell him, listen, you got to get it together. You got to go and appease Kenemu. You were supposed to be bringing these offerings up to the mountain once a year or however often, and you've been ignorant. So now we're suffering because of the fact that you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So anyway, this is the point where Jasir humbles himself, and uh, he brings the offerings, and he says, "And then I found the god Kenemu standing in front of me, and I propitiated him with the offerings that I made unto him. And I made a prayer and supplication before him. Then he opened his eyes, and his heart inclined to me. And in a majestic manner he said unto me, I am Kenemu, who fashioned thee, or thee, who made you. My two hands grasped you and knitted together your body. I made your members sound, and I gave you your heart." I love that. I just it is it when you know the original source, it's such a good thing. But it's also the reminder, like I did a sermon a few months ago called "I Got You," with two hands, showing that Kinamu has got you. He crafted you with these hands. Okay, that's the idea. So, but now you have the two energies working side by side. You have Nit, who is the self-created, and then you have Kenamu, who is the crafter of souls. And some say that he was also the crafter of the Necharu. But the main thing is that he is someone who is also aligned with your destiny. And this is the metaphor that is used to understand how we should be in harmony with nature in order for us to be able to be not only in alignment but also to be reciprocal, so that the land gives us its bounty, but then we should also honor the community and also the land source that it was received from, and all of nature. So I think I shared everything I wanted to share with you tonight. Does anybody have any questions before I let you go? Give thanks. We still have to do sacred ceremony, the last sacred ceremony. This opening of the year. Huid Kadest, as we close. This is our Khametic Eucharist for those who are not aware. The sacred supper of Huid Kadest, known today as Eucharist, was created in ancient Kemet. The priests and priestesses of Osset honored the resurrection of King Wasir and the resurrection of life. We all face personal levels of resurrection daily. As we learn the lessons of this life, we strive to grow, leave behind the old and unnecessary habits and behaviors, and move forward into higher consciousness. The blood that flows through our veins is of our ancestors. Huit represents the DNA, the ancestral blood that reaches back into the beginning of time. In African culture, we refer to it as the river of ancestors. The blood, or senef, of our ancestors flows through each of us, as our blood will flow through future generations. It is an endless stream. As we call upon the light and wisdom of our high ancestors, or Iaku, our blood becomes purified. As such, we are mindful of giving respect, Sha'isha, to senef, the blood. When we become spiritually awakened, we take our places within the awakened body of consciousness, Christ consciousness, Keres consciousness. Keres means the mummified remains or body wrapped in swaddling strips. Death to the old, yet spirit lives on. It has victory over death. We, in our spiritual growth, have victory over death and in life as we put emphasis on spirit and are not stuck in matters of flesh and mundane. The bread, or te, symbolizes the body, or the Christ. We hold up the bread, and you can repeat after me as I do this in ceremony for you. Necheru, bless this bread of life. Simek necheru, mishet angpen. I am the bread of life. Anuk mishet ang. I am the body of awakened consciousness. Anuk karest. My body is sacred. Kati jaser. My spirit is of God. Kani nechir. Thank you, God. Dwanechir. Unem. Eat. Wow. Repeat after me as I hold up this cup. Necheru, bless this blood of life. Semek necheru, senef ankpen. My blood flows from the river of ancestors. Senefi sef ni im yaku. Webi, purify me. Thank you, God. Dwanachir. Baba, drink. Please hold up your cup. This cup is also you. It is a sacred chalice. You, like the cup, are a sacred vessel. Be mindful of what you fill your life with. Your life is sacred. Repeat after me. I am a sacred vessel. Anuk Imaku. My life is sacred. Anki Jasir. Amen. Amen. Amenit. That concludes our service for tonight. Remember that you are a sacred vessel as you walk into 2025. Be mindful of what you fill your life with. If you want any information about the classes that I have coming up, in particular, the rune class, the Khametic rune class, and also the psychic self-defense class, then please visit my website at imaku.info. Please also visit my online store where I have spiritual and cultural products, including cultural t-shirts and my sacred dolls and so much more that are there to enhance your life, whether by bringing beauty into your home or by bringing enlightenment. Overall, it is to bring enrichment to your life. And then also, if you want to find out more about Shenu, then please visit us at shenuliving.com. And so I say we're claiming the blessings and protection of this year. And I'll get into Pakit next time. And also know that I love and appreciate you all so very much. Stay strong. If you feel as though you're falling, then reach out. If you are curious about this path and want spiritual education classes, then please reach out. But above all, if you are in need of guidance and need a consultation, then please reach out. Go to my website and you can find out how to book a session. Um, Beyond everything, I send you much love, Meraya. Grant you peace, be at peace, Heri. Accountability, Teni. and Jebewi, which is mercy. Blessings for 2025. Enjoy the rest of your first new day in 2025.